Good evening. Welcome to Epiphany Lutheran Church in Richmond, Virginia. I'm Kevin Barger, the Director of Music Ministry. This is our Music Minute, where we're taking a look at the hymns we'll be using in worship tomorrow. And we are already to the third Sunday of Easter. Can you believe it? And we're going to start with our gathering hymn, Let Us Go Now to the Banquet. And the main idea and key words for this chorus came from a sermon. Then the composer, author, had his teacher in a Jesuit high school that had done a mass. And this mass, as with all masses, is to welcome all, including, quote, the poor and hungry to the banquet of justice and good. It comes from the late 1970s, and the mass was written by an archbishop who was assassinated, actually, before that mass was completed. So the tune composer of this hymn then lived in exile in Nicaragua for 10 years following the assassination of this archbishop who had started this mass. And authorities were most upset with him because this was an inclusion of all. And it's very prominent in the Spanish translation, the Spanish words that were used in it. So while it's delightful for us, it was not a delightful thing for those folks. So this is Let Us Go Now to the Banquet. And next we'll move on to our hymn of the day, Day of Arising. And this was commissioned for the annual assembly of the Minneapolis Area Synod of the ELCA. And Susan Powell-Cherwin wrote the text. It is detailing the meeting of the risen Christ on the Emmaus Road. And it almost follows the pattern of a haiku if you actually look at just the text. The tune was actually commissioned for this text, and I'm going to play that tune here. It's called Robbie, which is named for Nancy and Bill Robbie. Nancy Robbie is currently the president of the Association of Lutheran Church Musicians. And that tune will be sung at the 11 o'clock service tomorrow, if you tune in online for that, or if you're coming in person at 11. But the choir will sing that tune. We are going to sing it to the Morning Has Broken tune, so we're going to get a little bit of each. But this variation is based on the Robbie tune, Day of Arising. So a beautiful tune, maybe a little bit harder to sing than The Morning Has Broken tune, but not too bad. But we'll get to focus on the words, the wonderful words, since we know the other tunes so well. But hopefully you enjoyed that. Next will be our sending hymn, All the Vault of Heaven Resounds, for the Easter season. And this hymn originated actually from the service book and hymnal. Remember that? The first read hymnal. And as with most Easter hymns, the Alleluias are very prominent, and they sing out at the end as you get to the refrain at the end of each one. And the tune probably came from the 16th century. It was shaped by the Catholics in Cologne, Germany. And the tune itself spans heaven and earth. You can hear it with your high notes and your low notes and how it covers everything. It's good, and you can easily see the sweeping nature of the words that fit into this tune. Now all the vault of heaven resounds. little bit jazzy version of that. And last but not least will be our communion hymn, and that is Now the Green Blade Rises. And this text actually was written to a tune that was most commonly known for Christmas, Sing We Now of Christmas. And it comes from the Oxford Book of Carols, for those music techno wizards that are out there. The intention is that the grain that is referred to remains constant throughout the entire hymn. So you hear all about the grain from when it first starts to growing and being nourished and all those sorts of things. The Christmas hymn is from the 17th century, Sing We Now of Christmas. The actual tune actually dates back to the 15th century. So it's got a lot of history. Now the Green Blade Rises. Very driving, rhythmic, Now the Green Blade Rises. Thanks again for joining us this evening for this third Sunday of Easter weekend as we looked at our hymns that we'll be using. If you're joining us in person tomorrow, those services are at 8:30 and 11 in the sanctuary, and the 11 o'clock service, as always, will be live streamed on our YouTube channel. Thank you again for joining. Have a great evening. We'll see you next week.